1 minute, huh, guys? So I am the opener, right, Darshan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you put the great responsibility shoulder. Okay, then what I do next? Select a window screen.
Ah,
Can
and
entire screen?
no, sir. In window, you will when you click on window, you will see your PPT, which is already open from you in your laptop.
1 minute. Huh? Where is my PPT? I finding it a difficulty. Let I go through the entire screen. It is okay to.
So not
It is
yet.
visible now.
No, 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 sir. Not visible.
1 minute. I share my screen actually. I hope now it is.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine. Now,
Uh,
okay, sir.
okay. Just a minute. I do the full screen and we'll start. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Mm, yes, yes. Actually, we are habitual to use the Microsoft Team. So that's why. Okay. No worry that now we are in the right track. I see that the attendee speaker are mute, but if you would like to ask the question in between, I appreciate. See, these are the discussion only. I don't claim that this is only the way which I am showing in my slide is possible. There are the 100 or 1,000 ways it would possible to reach a particular destination, right? Okay, visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now visible.
That's one, 1 minute, no, Darshan?
And all the
Okay,
participants are
right.
requested, if you have any kind of question or any query, you can write in the chat box also, and you can also unmute yourself and do the interaction directly with the speaker. Okay, chat is enabled for all the participants, and you can unmute yourself at your end. Yes, sir. Now please, sir, continue, sir.
Yes, thank you so much for your uh, initial information. It's quite important. Okay, I go through, I put the title, research, then the research citation, then the research impact, and the research opportunity, right? So I said that I divided it, the entire presentation in three parts. And starting from the research and the important part, see that our title is also research methodology and technical writing. So I try to cover the initial part as the research methodology, and then how you progress in technical writing. In fact, you see that the research is the part of skill actually, and this skill you can learn only once you try it yourself. Without it, it will not possible. For example, you want to learn the swimming, right? It's a skill. If you read the 1,000 book that you have to swim like in this way, those way, but it cannot work for you unless until you can jump in the pool, right? So these are the important part. Research is a skill, and then we can learn it gradually by doing the practice to ourselves only. So I put here that what means of the methodology in this slide and how it will helpful. So you see these two important picture which give the important message of the research method. In the first picture, if I will go through the right hand side, then perhaps you see that maybe I will put the symbology as this is the guide, and might be this is the student, and the guide hold the stick in his hand, and he try to do something. I maybe say that it is either pull or push. So then that it is too important actually. That what is the role of the guide, right? But in between, you see this stick that it has hold, and these sticks, I say that it is the representation of the research or research methodology. This is too important. This make the bridge between the guide to the researcher, or either by using the appropriate research method, perhaps you able to publish your work faster. The early speaker, He has covered also that what is the significance of the academic publication, and even though you also experience that once you publish that the people will recognize you in the research field. So in the way that I say, yes, the research methodology is too important to have to achieve your itself. You just try that. You apply it in past, you apply it in present, or might be you can apply in future. Research always research. It never change. Either you apply in past, present, or future. It itself present that research is not the destiny. It's the journey actually. And journey you can start from any point, right? So don't presume in your mind that you are not capable or not able to start the research from this point. Somebody are so in this field and somebody are those and they are doing this. How can I start my research? But there is no hardcore principles behind. Anybody can start the research at any time. Second, that suppose you start writing something, then what methods you keep in mind? So I covered research citation. Then you suppose publish some paper, then your objective is that how the research community can know to you and how you get the impact in your research community. So I covered a very short part of, but it is too important that research impact like that you all are familiar with Facebook, right? You upload your photos and you see that how the people will like, how the people will comment. It's nothing but it's effect of your photograph, right? So these are, I consider that it is the research impact. So here we also use the different types of the software, research impact in our field. And last one, it's quite important. You are ready for research, you are interested for research, you want to do the research, but the question is that how you get the funding. So the research opportunity where I try to cover some of the research funding agencies, perhaps it will help you. But I say it is not limited to that only. Might be you can dig many more and go through them and find out that how those research opportunity will help to you. Right? So let me go. See this person, the student going to fall in pit, but your guide will try to protect by using the research methodology. Similar case that student want to success, the guide has the role, that the research has the role, that it's provide the ladder so that the student can able to climb very easily. So these are the two important message I'm looking at in this picture, and I'm sure that it will help you to motivate you, right? Okay, the another important part is that why we require research, why we want research, why I do research, right? So I go through the next slide. Mm, yes. See that what are the difference? Right in 2009 and what is in 2000? It means 2020, and these are the basic difference between why we require research. You see, in the just 10 years, the cameraman and pilot both lost their job. So upgrade or upgradations are too important. And upgradation is nothing but you can do a good research, get the good fame in the research field and improve your research impact, right? Now I take a few important definition of that, what means of the research and what is the difference between the research and the invention. Take a little time to shift. Next slide. See, sometimes we have the advantage of, sometimes we have disadvantage too for using the modern techniques. I'm audible, but
Yes, sir, audible,
Darshan?
but slides are not changing.
Mm, 1 minute. So Hope it will come. Darshan, now?
So please change 1 or 2 slide.
It's changed?
No. Still it is helicopter and drone. સર એક કામ કરો, ફરીથી બંધ કરીને ફરીથી શેર કરો સર. Stop sharing.
Okay, 1 minute, I do that. Okay. Okay. Now stop presenting.
Yes. હવે ફરીથી સર શેર કરો એટલે થઈ જશે.
1 minute. Huh? Present now. Okay, a window, right?
મારી વાત છે.
Okay, research methodology, PowerPoint, allow. Now?
No sir. હજી હવે કહ્યું સર. Yes. Do slideshow and then change
Okay.
1 or 2 slide.
1 minute, huh?
Ah.
Now? Okay. Right? Now it's come?
Sir, slideshow.
That's it?
No sir, slideshow નથી થયું હજી.
But it is in my screen actually. It shows. Hope.
Sir, આ ચેન્જ કરો ને સર, સ્લાઇડ ચેન્જ કરો ને 1-2 એટલે ખબર પડી જાય.
It is changed actually in my.
સર હવે છે ને તમે શેર સ્ક્રીનમાં જઈને જે સ્લાઇડ શો છે ને એ સ્ક્રીનને શેર કરો સર એટલે થશે.
It is up username. Now?
No sir, still नहीं.
Stop sharing.
સર હવે જે તમે સ્લાઇડ શો કરી છે ને એ સ્ક્રીન કરો સર.
1 minute.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. દર્શન સર,
Yes, please.
સરને એવું કહો કે એમણે જે સ્ક્રીન શેર કરે ને એમાં એમની જે વિન્ડો સ્ક્રીન હોય ને એ વિન્ડો સ્ક્રીન શેર કરશે સર. તો છે ને એમનું જે પ્રેઝન્ટેશન ચેન્જ કરશો ને એ બધું પ્રેઝન્ટેશન ને બધું ચેન્જ થશે ને આપણને બતાવશે. ઓનલી પીપીટી શેર કરશે ને તો શેર નહીં થાય. અમારે પીએચડી ના પેલા સેશન ની અંદર પણ આ તકલીફ થયેલી હતી. એટલે સર વિન્ડો સ્ક્રીન શેર કરશો ને તો પછી તમે સ્ક્રીનમાં જે ચેન્જ કરશો ને બતાડી શકશે અમને લોકોને.
Okay, entire screen I will select. Okay,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, allow.
સર હવે પીપીટી નીચે.
Okay, Darshan. Now it's okay?
હા.
1 minute. Now?
Now change 1 or 2 slides.
Right, 1 minute. I will change. Okay, now it's work. Okay. Excellent, good. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so this was the important message I said, and we require to upgrade definitely using the research methodology. And the content we have that what is the research, that important of research, objective of research, type of research process or steps, quite important. How we progress, suppose who are the beginner, they really want that doing the research in some area. What are the important steps he has to remember or she has to remember to start the research, right? So that I will try to cover. Then important part, reference citation, and I would like to share one of my mistakes, that what I did to publish my first paper, and I'm sure that it will not repeat again by you guys, so that I will put one example, important example for using the EndNote Export software for research citation and the research funding opportunities, right? So I go through the section 1 and what means of the research actually, what research stands. So I already said that if you put the research world in past, present or future, the main objective of doing the research is that scientific investigations, or simple words we say that we are searching for knowledge. But other way we also say that research is searching for truth, and this truth we can search it by help of what we can do. So we can search the truth by help of study, by help of observation, comparison and experiments. Even if all the individual words are characterize you, if you find it carefully, then every words are understand the means of the research in the comprehensive way. So you do either study, you do either the observation, you do either the comparison, and you either the experiment, then it stands for the research for you, right? So research is search for knowledge with help of the objective. Certainly you require some objective, without the research will not possible. So you find out first what is your objective to do the research. Then systematic method of finding the solution of the problem. And these are quite important, and that I have covered in form of the research methodology, that it's covered in part of the solution to the problem, right? Now many times we have the confusion actually, that whether I'm doing research or it is the invention. So I put one example here, and I'm sure you get it, that how it will work, right? So we have the lock. I put very simple example, that the lock we have, and we know that any lock can be opened by help of the key. So now the question is that how we open the lock by help of, suppose we have the 100 keys. So natural that you start applying key one by one. You can apply first key, then second key, third key, or might be your experience of initially that see this type of lock might be, this type of the key will be most prominent to open the lock. Then I say that we are doing actually the research. So you are applying that all the keys, because the keys itself it is available. 100 keys we say, yes, it is available. And then you apply all the key one by one to try to open the lock. Then we say you are doing research to finding the correct key only. But suppose you assume that you applied all the 100 keys until your lock are not open. Then now what the next task for you? So certainly you say that this key are not applicable. Though all the keys are not applicable to open the lock, then you require to prepare your own key. And then once you start preparing your own key, that we say it is the invention. So these are actually the basic difference I am looking between the research and the invention, right? Then why we require, what are the main objective of doing the research? So the main objective is to investigate the subject. You try to insight in your subject, try to find out that what subject exactly, and what are the future possibilities in our subject. Either I can do this, or either I can perform this experiment, so that I can investigate my subject properly. So we say we understand the subject by doing the research, right? Then collect the data regarding the problem. Once you start collecting the data, different data, then we say yes, we are doing the research. To conduct the logical objective study, we say that yes, we are doing the research. To conduct a systematic inquiry of the subject, it is the part of research, or it is a part of objective of research. And for carefully recording, reporting and presenting the facts, or presenting the truth, that we say that these are the main objective of doing the research. Then what types of the research we have? So we have initially identified that our research or research area under which category. Either it is applied research, or either it is fundamental research, either it is descriptive research, analytical research, quantitative research, qualitative research, conceptual research, empirical research, and the last, either we are working on some part of the historical research. So these are the some discrimination between when you apply the theory types of the research. And now I will show that how you start research. What are the important steps that you have to follow, so that once you start your research working in some area, you are following all the important sequential method, and then you can reach to your objective precisely, right? So we started from the first important part to doing any research or research process. We have a problem. So first part is to formulate the problem. Now your question is that how I get the problem. Many are suggesting that you go through simply the Google, try to write, and then you find out the problem. But these are not the true case in every case that you see. You can find out those problems from the newspaper. Newspaper is one of the ideal, I say that in the present area, where you find out that what exactly the problem we have in surrounding us. Suppose you find out those problem in Google, you get the problem, but those problem are working in US or maybe in the developing countries, then perhaps it will not helpful you to do a good research in your area, in your local area. So mostly we have the objective to, especially in water resources, actually we are doing the research on case specific. So I say that yes, we required certain study area where it is affected by some natural causes, so that we assess and then we find out the appropriate solution. So I say for me that I have the research area where I started the work in 2006-7, and it was, in fact, I have put in my slide also, the Surat was affected by the flood in 2006. I just completed my master, and the next day when I read it in the newspaper, I believe that yes, these are the important problems we have. In fact, the Surat are affected by the flood. If you see, even though who are from the Surat, they are aware that the Surat city was having a enriched history when it was started affecting from 1964, 5, 1998. Then again 2003 and 2006, which was one of the massive flood where 75 to 80% Surat was under inundations, right? So I got it that yes, these are the major problem which I am looking, which just surround to me. Then why not I can choose those problem to find out the appropriate solution, rather than I am choosing the problem where it deal with somebody else in some other country. Then let me try to find out those problems surrounding. So these are the first steps where you try that, find out the problem first, right? And then we will think that now what will be the solution possible, or possible solution in future. And then we'll apply the research method or methodology. So these are the problem, and see how I formulate this problem. So the next step for me, that the literature. I read the title from the newspaper that it is, for example, in Gujarati, the Bhayankar poor in Surat city, we call that. So poor man, what means it? What stand it in the scientific language? So we say yes, the scientific word for it is flood. So I get the keyword from my problem that it is flood. Now my task is that what is flood, or what is the definition of flood, or what types of the floods, and later on that what methods can be applicable for assess the floods. So I go through that part of the literature, because flood is not the new problem. In fact, in the ancient also, it also reported, because we know that the legendary structure in civil engineering, pyramid, and it was situated in Nile River, beside Nile River, so they also struck by the floods. And they started since long 2000, before 2000 year of, to finding out the solution of the floods. So they started doing the research actually for doing the literature review. The second step in your part, you do the literature, where you try find out that what the different researchers call about the floods and what different techniques they have applied to assess. So I go through, perhaps now it is very easy to go through the Google and then find out the literature. Many papers are available. In fact, the ResearchGate are the good option where you go. Many researchers are already uploaded their research paper in it. So you can easily download those research paper and start referring it free of charge, right? So the second important part you keep in mind always that the next part is doing the literature and find out that what the problem exactly it is, okay? Then the third part is create the hypothesis. Now, how you look the problem? What the problem exactly? So you have to create the hypothesis by reading those literature and comparing your study area. You read the literature paper and then you compare your study area. You read the literature paper, then you compare your study area. And then you can reach to some point that yes, these are the major causes for that the flood affected to the Surat city for my case. So I say that yes, I have to create a hypothesis. So these are the important part. You have to visualize, you have to think, and you have to decide. So for that, we are discussing the problem with colleagues in terms of the researchers, we say that. Examine the data, past data, maybe the future data also, how people looking those different data sets. Report development tentatively, and some assumptions. So these are all the part of creation of hypothesis. In addition, many times we have observed that when we start doing the research in some area, we are late with the data sets. So once you start preparing the hypothesis, you find out that what is the pros and cons. What is the advantage and what is the disadvantage of taking this type of the research, right? So you have to look and think all the possibilities before starting research in some area. In flood case, the entire floods are depends on flood forecasting and discharging the water, perhaps from the dam, we say. So we require the discharge data. Suppose we not have the enough or the clear discharge data, then we cannot able to solve the problem. So once I will create the hypothesis, I will aware that yes, these are the problem and these are the data sets available. So we can work in this area and we can able to find out the solution. And these are some of the images which I took that. I collected the data sets where I clearly identified that Surat was affected by the floods and the major part was under inundations. And then the next step is formulating the methods now. You prepare the steps that how you follow in your research. What will be the first step you require? What will be the second step you require? What will be the third step? And what will be the fourth step? So that you can find out the solution of your problem. So I have prepared the research methodology. And it is too important that the first phase, the preparation, initial preparation phase. So in the first phase, mostly we look literature study, either from newspaper, journals or articles. Then data collection, some of the spatially located data set, some of the hydrological data set that we collected it from the different agencies. And then we frame that entirely that how the problem we have actually in our area. So these are the first that you can prepare in your research methodology. Then second immediate part comes from the fieldwork and data collections. So the fieldwork may be that you consider spatially data collection and hydrological data collections. So that part will cover is, might be in my case, I require the topo sheets. So I can collect the data in form of topo sheets. Then high resolution images, contour maps, city maps, zone boundary maps. But although I decided that, yes, I required these all the data sets. So I decided it based on my literature review. That at least I required these 5 to 6 categories of data to assess or identify my problem. Second data is regarding the hydrological data that I have decided I require gauge data or either some observation or either velocity data so that I can find out that what are the actual case in the flood at the time. Then the third important part is decision of model. There are so many models are available. Now model is what? That it is nothing but see, you have an input, you have a model, and you run the model and you get the output, right? And this output, perhaps we say we can use it for decision making system. But every model will work on your input data. So input data is quite important, and you have to choose the model based on how many input data are available with you. And based on that, we will decide. If you read some article from the web, you collected, you find out that yes, this is a good that they did the analysis and they have presented this type of map. Let I do it according. But sometimes it is not work for you. Then why it is not work for you? So you can find out that because it is not work for you, you not choose the appropriate model because the data set which are available with you are not matched with the model which is available in the paper. So you have to identify that what model you have to use, what are the input data are available locally in your area, and based on that you will decide what output this model will provide, and then what output you will get it from the model and how you will look the problem. So these are the important part, the third part in your preparation of research method, where you decide the modeling part, and then the important is also that how you do the validation too. You prepare the plot map. In my case, I have prepared the plot maps, but I required the validation too. So I will compare it with the observed data sets. I validate it and I say yes, those are the cities or those are the societies was affected by the flood. So in future, maybe that this type of the flood will repeat. Those societies are highly vulnerable. So those we have to prevent first against the flooding actions, right? And last one is the conclusion that we consider is the report writing and the conclusion. So these are the few steps I say that where we can prepare a ideal methodology, starting from collecting of the literature review, data collection, modeling, mapping, comparison, and the last one is the conclusion. Now furthermore, the decision that you have to take that which data set is the best for you. So preparation of research plan or research design, and time schedule and cost of the scheme, right? I put it very simple diagram here that we have so many activities to solve. For example, activity A, B, C, and we have certain time that we have to solve this problem in within 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So I decided my activities is A, B, C, and I have the time schedule is either 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 month. So these are too important. Otherwise, see, you are out of the track, because research is somehow a race also, where you have to publish your work faster to your opponent or your opposite person. So at the time you have to decide yourself that what are the data set, what are the model available, and how you schedule it so that you can complete your task in the shortest time and you perhaps able to publish it as fast as possible. So the fifth important part I am looking in every research, you should check your schedule. You always follow to your schedule only. Otherwise you are behind to schedule and in fact you not get the appropriate appreciation in the field without appropriate publication in the field. Okay, the sixth important part that we are looking in research methodology is collection of data sets. Now primary data set, secondary data set. Now you have to discriminate that how much time you will put to collection of the data sets. Many time I observe when once PhD students start working, they spend at least 2 years for collection of data sets only. The till I do not get this data, yes, I have to work hard, go there in this office and then I will get the data. So I am looking that the major part is emphasize on collection of data sets. How you collect those data sets and how much time you have to spend behind collection of data sets. Sometimes we collected 15, 20 data sets, but later when we check and when we applied for modeling work, we observed that we require hardly 10 data sets. Then why we spend unnecessary time for collection of 15 data sets? We require only 10 data sets. Those data are available. But in fact, we also check that how this primary or secondary data sets is available. At present, I am looking that topo sheet, for example. The earlier the topo sheet is required to collect it only from the Survey of India. You have to go personally there, and then you have to put the request later, and then they will provide it in form of the hard copy, and then you scan those data sets and convert it in the soft form, and then you can utilize it for your research work. But instead, nowadays, it is start freely available. You can use Google, that go through simply the topo sheet, and perhaps it will be available. So now you're comparing the time actually, that how much time you spend behind to collection of those data sets. Initially, you collected for 2 months there, where you just get it within 2 clicks. So these are the two important part when you are dealing with the research or research methodology, right? So collection of data set is quite important. You schedule it that yes, in your case, your data set should be collected within 6 months. Then next part, it's again too important, processing the data sets. Now, mostly all the data sets nowadays, we can process it by help of the computer system. It means you require the enough literacy in computer. Without it, you're not capable of to be solving your problem. Might be you wondered that recently we got one problem. We started working on Gandhinagar flood, and where we had produced a high resolution DM, digital elevation model. Perhaps who are from working in water resources engineering, they are aware about what is DM. So we have prepared those DM by using the UV techniques. We took near about 9,200 images, and we connected all the images by the software, Pix4D software. And when it is converted and prepared a one Mojek file, I was really surprised. It was really a very big shock for me that the single file covered 25 GB. Now you assume that a single file having the data length is 25 GB, then how my ordinary computer can work? It cannot. In fact, if I have to open this file in my computer, it takes more than 5 minutes, because most of all the ordinary computer having the RAM is hardly 4 GB or maybe 8 GB maximum. So it takes too much time for me that now see it start hampering to working in modeling work. So at the time it is too important for you that how you choose the appropriate software or how you choose the appropriate computer, so that it is quite capable for you to working efficiently in your area. So these are too important. There are so many tools are now available. Earlier we collected all the data set in hard form. Now by using the scanner, we able to convert those data sets into soft form. And then later we will insert in computer, then we'll digitize, and then we'll produce different files. Those files we can use in modeling work, and then we'll get the output. So these are the 7 important methods we will consider in research, where you have to follow sequentially. And then we have the analysis of the data. It is really too important part, that how you prepare your data sets. You have the enough literacy to know about the different types of the maps. I have prepared, for example, I say the dam spill, right? So I have near about 45 collection data sets, where 16 times I looking that dam is not spill, or 18 times I am looking that the dam spill, so that when it spill from, mostly the Surat city are affected by the flood. So I want to represent this data so that the research community or the laymen who are in front of me can understand it clearly, that what I want to say by help of my data set. So suppose I will produce this dam spill or not spill by help of the line diagram, or maybe that either by help of the bar diagram, then perhaps you cannot identify clearly that how many times the dam spill or not spill. But instead, suppose if I will plot it in form of the pie diagram, then it will very clear in someone's minds that how many times the dam are spill or not spill. So it shows that 50 times the dam spill, okay, dam spill, and at the time when it spill, that it mostly has the flood at the downstream side. So this is too important. In addition, in fact, you see that I have prepared one more map where I can utilize all the different axes to representing the data set simultaneously. So covering the part of line diagram. So I show the temperature by help of line diagram. I shows that the humidity is also by help of the line diagram. I shows the rainfall, but I shows it by help of the column diagram. So I can perhaps compare that what is the humidity, what is the temperature, and what is the precipitations. So I can somehow find out the relation of the temperature, humidity, and precipitation at the same point. Once I will choose the appropriate graph or appropriate presentation of the data set. So this is too important when you are going to present your work in any journal paper. Mostly the students are, that means the researchers are facing the problem that how they are presenting their data set in journal. It is up to the mark or not, otherwise the reviewer will send it back to immediately and you have to revise those data sets, right? So it is too important. Try check so many map formats or the graph formats are available. You go through either Excel, we can see, visualize that what different graphs formats are available and what are the best for you. Suppose you have to show this scattering map and you can show those scattering map by help of the line diagram. It's not work, right? You have to show the scattering diagram by help of the dots and then you will plot it by help of the different logarithm methods and then you find out what are the R square value for showing the relation between the observed value and the calculated value. So the research community can understand that how your research will be capable of showing the value of R square near to the real one. So these are too important. Sometimes we represent the data set by help of the map also. If I will say in part of Surat, like north part is situated on the hilly area, the south part is situated in the valley area. But if I will speak 1,000 words, instead I will put a single map, then everyone can understand that what means, where are the high elevation, where are the low elevation. So we can find out those kind of the elevation by using the appropriate data sets, right? Map or presenting the data set in form of the map. Then the important part is that the hypothetical test. You cannot accept your result by applying a single model and then you say, yes, it is capable of matching with the real value. So at the time we have to apply the different hypotheses or we apply the different test. So these are again very important part in doing the research. You have to apply the test X, test Y and test Z. And after comparing the value of test X, Y, Z, then you will decide which one is the nearer to the actual one. And then you will set or either you fine tune your data set in your modeling work and perhaps these are the best output you are able to get from your modeling work, right? So these are one of the complicated model actually we had used. We have prepared so many data set, we made the variation in data set and simultaneously we observed the output in terms of the hydrograph. We get the variation in hydrographs by applying the different types of the data sets. So you have to apply the test X, Y, Z. And then we are comparing these values. So we say we are doing the generalization. Most of the case we not strict towards only the case studies, but the wider research community will accept your results where it is applicable to the many researchers. If I will restrict my conclusion only towards to the maps only and to the case study only, then it will not accept it. So we have to do a generalize actually. So we have to find out what are the important generalized points which are covered in part of the research, so that those points will be covered in the part of conclusion, so that the larger research community are capable of getting the benefit from the research. So we are apply that and then we are compare it. These are the comparison from map to the actual. We say that it is the calculated and this one is the observed. So we are comparing between the calculated result to the observed results. So these are the important steps I am looking at. Once you start applying those 10 steps in your research, I'm sure you are in a correct direction where you are adopting the research in particular areas, right? And the next important part is now you start writing your report or writing your thesis work. So thesis work will cover the part of initial title, then content, then you know that list of table, list of figure, abbreviation, abstract, keywords, and then you start organizing your chapters. So those chapters will consider the introductions, literature review, methodology chart, study area and data collection, result analysis, validation, and the conclusion. So these are one of the standard organization of that how you organize your thesis by starting from introduction to the conclusion. Then the important part comes from the reference. And last one is either acknowledgement, and you are either if you collected some charts, maps, plans, or data sheet, that you can put it at the last. So these references are quite important, and I will show you in the next part that how the references we can cite it in the research work. And the last part after completing formulating your all the chapter, I am looking that now you start publishing your work. Meanwhile, you can do also in between, you can do either for conference publications or either in form of the journal publication, national or international. But if you go through at the last, you have a great chance to publish your thesis in form of the books. So mostly we try that, we are doing it at the last, right? So these are the publications that you will able to convert in form of either journal or conference paper. So these are the way that these are, I go through very quick the important part: formulation of your problem, literature review, hypothesis, methods, then you design your plan, collect the data set, process the data, analyze the data, then apply the test, then you generalize, and then you start writing. So these I am looking that it is the standard method where you will follow sequentially in your work. I'm sure that you get a great success in your field. And then we will do the publications. Okay, so I will put one problem with you that let me know what are the problem, what are the solution. So my equation is that how, okay, you identify the photo. What is it?
I request participant write in the chat box the answer, the question which is asked by the speaker.
Pyramids.
Pyramids.
Right, good. Achha, now my question is that how they created one perfect square on ground. Because see, the pyramid was constructed 5,000 years ago. And without using the modern equipments, how they constructed on the ground.
By helping the millions of workers, laborers, and
Right. But my question is that how they created a one perfect square actually on the ground. They had used so many workers, I agree. They did it day and night actually, I apply a great effort behind. But the question is that how they created a one perfect square on ground. So I go through the solution. See, sometimes the solutions are very silly. But just you have to improve your visualization only. If I will show the solution that you will agree with, you all will agree with me that yes, perhaps we did it in our school time. And we plotted one perfect square by applying a simple techniques, right? So our objective is to plot one square on the ground. We can do it by help of plotting one circle, then make the arc and connect all the arcs. You find that it made one perfect square on ground, and you say they had used actually rope and pole. They mark it on the ground, but till the many researchers are behind that how they created one perfect square, because every time we cannot assume that ground are in level, right? In civil engineering, we know that by using the serving field, we have serving and leveling. So in serving, we are doing the linear and angular measurement, and in leveling, we are doing the vertical measurements. Unless until the ground are not flat, that we cannot contact or connect the line from one to the other end. So these are the very challenging part and where the research is required, right? So these are one of the examples just I put. Sometimes it is so easy, but getting the answer of some questions are sometimes very difficult, and that part required intensive research behind. Now I come to the second part. I leave the important segments in the first part, that how we do the reference citation. Now I have a question, that how you write the references in your MTech thesis. Darshan bhai, I am not able to see the participant response actually. So if any, I think the answer is there. Let me know.
Sir, nice flow.
Okay.
So, sir, till time we are understand properly what you are explaining already.
Right. But my question actually is that, okay, how we cite the references, and I say mostly I observed.
Sir,
I share the true experience.
we are using Harvard references. Harvard references as a citation in the MTech thesis.
Right,
That is
right.
author name, then your title, then whatever the journal is.
Yes, these are the style I say that you adopted for citing your reference. But the initial question is that earlier
Sir, we
and
are we,
yes, please.
sir, we are using Vancouver method for references.
Right, good. I get two
Sir,
answer.
sir, I am using citation method on
Right,
APA format. APA format.
right. Good. Actually, in fact, now you are going to aware about the software techniques. But if you compare the reference or reference writing just 5 years, 10 years before, then mostly what the researchers or what mostly the PG students are doing, they are writing the reference manually. It means they are trying to type the reference one by one, right? And once you start typing those reference manually, suppose I want to write a reference, Patel DP, then Dodake MB, then again Patel SR, for example, and then I will write and quote the entire citation. Then you see that I have to keep in mind that where I have to put dot, where I have to put the full stop, where I have to put the comma, where I have to put the dash, and then at the end I will complete my entire reference, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, sir. Can I just ask you a question? Like,
Yes.
sir, nowadays we can do some things like this. There's a shortcut. Like, for example, Google Scholar. In Google Scholar,
Yes,
you get.
yes.
That is what you
Yes.
are trying to say. That is what you are trying to convey.
Yes, I am going to convey the same actually,
Okay.
that how we are doing the reference citation now, but
Okay.
how it was in early days.
Okay, sir. Thank
And
you.
suppose you did not know that the correct methods, then what type of the problem actually we have observed, right? So that I am actually want to say. And nowadays we are, earlier we start writing those references manual. And due to this reason, actually I have submitted one paper in journal. And see the date when it was published. It was published in 24th May 2010, which I submitted, and it was published in 19 June 2011. So before, just 5-10 years before, when it was not have the proper tool research methodology, then perhaps we are not able to publish. When I start submitting this paper in journal, every time the editor sent back to me and said that you missed the comma, you missed the dot, or you missed the either putting the appropriate number at the end of your reference. And I saw that how can I correct each and every dots and points and comma correctly by using the appropriate methods. So now I think we not have that we have the research methodology, and where exactly the research methodology is applicable to cite all the references in your research work, right? So this type of mistake earlier we had observed, but now I think you not have to write your all the references manually or type the references manually. Instead, we try to use the advanced research methodology, and we can cite those references in journal or either in conference or either in thesis work. So these are the important steps I would like to share, that how you cite those references in your paper or in your conference paper or in your journal paper. So these are the 6 standard steps mostly we adopt to cite the references. So first step, we have to install, and I adopted EndNote-X4. I don't say that only this available, but you have to apply certain research method to cite your references. Otherwise, you struck that anywhere in between, and might be there's chances that the reviewer will send back or editor will send back your paper and will finding out so many mistakes that you miss this dot, comma, and other. So preventing these, I suggest we adopt this kind of the modern techniques. So I have adopted EndNote-X4, and now let me see that how it works to cite those references, right? So when you will install, it automatically come at the end of in your Microsoft Word. And the next step, we have to prepare the library. So we go through in the EndNote-X4 that we go through the new, and then we'll prepare the library where I require all the citation which I am looking actually to make it in my paper or in my thesis work. So I can prepare my library by searching the important reference citations or paper citations from the Google, right? So I go through the Google Scholar, and then I will, for example, I have a paper that feasible structure, non-structural measures for Surat flood. I simply go through that Google Scholar and search in the Google Scholar where I find out that citation or site. I go through the site, and then I get the entire reference of that paper citations. So you can find out that who has published, when it published, and what are the journal name and what are the paper number that it has covered in this journal paper. So simply I go and then I will download this template, and then I will run, and then you see that these reference automatically add in my library. So these are the first reference I have added, which I actually required to cite these researchers in my paper or in my thesis. So I have prepared, I downloaded so many templates from the Google Scholar, and then I have prepared my library where I have 94 researchers. And now see that I started writing my paper, and I have an introduction part, and where I would like to say that the first line was cited by some researcher. So I go through the EndNote, then go through EndNote-X4. I say yes, these are cited, these are presented by Patel and et al. So I simply click on it and go through that insert, and you find that the citation itself inserted in the introduction part, and the entire bibliography, or we say that the reference comes at the last page. So these are the method actually I want to say explore that we can use for reference citation. But on early days that the researchers try to write it by help of Patel, DP, and all KMB, and then we find out that how we required that dot or comma or numbers. But instead, these are one of the easiest method that you go through, and then you start citing in your research work, right? Now the next task, that now you want to publish your paper. You cited so many references in your part of introduction, or maybe that in the other part too. But now you want to publish it in journal. Now journal have some different style. Then what you have to do? Now you have to convert those in different style, right? So I want to publish it in Springer. So these are the Springer style, where journal titles are in italic. So I not have to keep in mind that I have to convert my text in italic, but instead it automatic convert when I will select the style. So I select style Springer, and then I find that yes, my all the references automatically will convert in the style of Springer. But suppose I want to publish, I decide no, I not want to publish in Springer, but instead in IEEE. Then I go through that, we have so many reference styles. So select the IEEE, and then you find that all the references are converted. Now it is converted in as per the IEEE style. So these are really, I say that one of the most important research methods that perhaps we have to apply when we either write a research paper or the thesis, where we cannot have to write all the references individually, but instead we apply this research methodology, and we can apply the citation by using the EndNotes, or maybe that other softwares are also available, but you always try to apply at least any one tool to cite your references correctly in your paper work. Then the second part comes that now you have come write a good paper, you have submitted this paper in journal, now you have published this paper, but now the question is that how you get the rewards, that how you know that how many are cited your work in their paper. So we have 2-3 platforms where we can create our own profile, and we will insert, or either we insert, or sometime Google will automatically find out the source and will be insert your recent publication in your profile. So I have published so many papers. I would say that simply the one of that I say the prioritization of Mal's mini watersheds through morphometric analysis or remote sensing and GIS perspective. Now I would like to know that how many in the world they have cited my work in their research work. So perhaps I can know it only by help of the Google Scholar. I simply go through my profile where the paper is available, and I go through simply the citation. Then it shows perhaps that this paper are cited by 127 times in the world. And in fact, if I go through at the point, I also know that who have cited those papers and in which paper has been published on based on the citation paper. So these are one of the important part I am looking that once you will publish your paper, you have to create like Google Scholar, so that at least anybody will be citing your paper in future, you will aware about that, who have cited and how they have cited in the research, right? So meanwhile, you will able to connect the researchers through Google Scholar. In addition, you also find out that what are the total citations and what are the H index, I index, how many times it is cited in per year. You can find out by help of H index and I index, and someone, that means the researcher, can weight it by help of H index and I index, that how frequently you are publishing your paper in research community. So these are two important, right? The another platform is ResearchGate. Also, ResearchGate are a good platform. We are collecting all kind of the data sets where you will able to upload your research papers. The wide community can able to see your research paper. They can download, they can cite their work in the other areas. So also you can rate yourself that what are your research impact. So I have, for example, 15.4. So we can identify based on that what are the research impact of some person in some area, right? So ResearchGate is another platform. It's quite important. Poblons, these are recently which are connected with Scopus too. So you can prepare your also the new account in Poblons, where also Poblon will conserve your enriched data sets. For example, I say I have published and how many have cited, but in addition, Poblons also covered the part that how many papers you have reviewed. I have received so many papers from the different journal. We reviewed and we simply submitted, but we cannot get the rewards earlier. But now Poplon has all the systematics records of that how many papers in fact we have reviewed, and it also has the weightage nowadays. So I consider that I reviewed 61 journal papers, so it has in my profile. So Poblon is also I can consider is one of the module where you can make your impact. Linked. You all are familiar to that. You can connect it with, link it to that with help of the different researchers, right? So these are the second part where you do the reference citations by help of the EndNote Expo. And the third segment, it's quite important that how you get the opportunity in the research field. So I go through some of the important opportunity. For UG and PG level, I say that you have to refer the Vedant's website where we have the TREES program. So this TREES program are support to the graduate and postgraduate students for doing the internship for the short time in either any of the center of ISRO in India. So perhaps you can do your 6-month internship in ISRO through the TREES or Vedant's program. Second is time PhD. In PDPU who are looking for PhD, might be these are the good option for them where you getting 25,000 or 30,000 per month. And we have a good research aliens also that we are connected with so many good university involved where you get the good opportunity doing the research in this field. In addition, University Grant Commission where Commonwealth scholarship are available who are looking doing the PhD abroad, then perhaps Commonwealth academic fellowships are quite important for them and it will provide for 3 years in form of the PhD program, or suppose you will choose the split program, then it will provide the scholarship for 1 year. So I suggest it is one of the best option where suppose you are in the 3rd year or 4th year in your research work, in your PhD work, might be you choose this option, Commonwealth Academics Fellowship, and choose any Commonwealth country, you write down the mail to the guide in your eminent researchers in your area. Perhaps you get the recommendation, you will apply and certainly you will get the opportunities. And they will provide near about 900 to 1,300 pound. Or sometimes you also get the opportunity to publish your paper in an international conference where they are supporting you 400 to 500 pounds. It's really a good amount that as to get it to publish your paper in international conference. In addition, regionally we say that in India we have the opportunity Prime Minister Research Fellowship. If you are looking to do your research in IITs or IICs or in NITs, so they are supporting initially for 1st and 2nd year 70,000, 3rd year 75,000, 4th, 5th year might you get that 80,000 per month. So it's really very good opportunity while looking the PhD in IITs and IICs and NITs. And in addition, they are providing near about 2 lakhs per year contingencies where you would like to do some small kind of some experiment in laboratory. Certainly you require some contingencies to perform those experiments, right? So these are also, we'll consider that it is one of the important opportunity who are looking experience for in PhD. So they can go and follow to that and get the opportunity. Then the third important is I consider that SERB is one of the important leading research funding agencies in science and engineering field. You go through the serbonline.in and who have completed their PhD and looking postdoc in India, I say SERB is one of the good options for them, where they're doing the postdoc, national postdoc fellowships, and they are getting the remunerations per month is near about 55,000. So it's again a good opportunity you have. In addition, they are providing research grant 2 lakh per annum and overhead charges near about 1 lakh per annum. So I think it is a really good opportunity you have that you do the postdoc by avail the benefit from the SERB. And furthermore, in the field of research and project opportunity, so many agencies, we say regional as well as the national agencies, that they are supporting you in your project work. SERB, one of that. Inspired EST program we consider that is one of the, you get the good project opportunity. AICT, UKRI, UGC. In fact, in PDPU, we say also ORSP providing the research support to the UG student. We are only the university in Gujarat, in fact, in India, that we say we are providing the support to the UG student for presenting their paper at international. So earlier, 4 students presented their paper with me in EGU, European Geoscience Union, where annually we are EGU that we are presenting this paper in the conference in form of the posters or either in form of the presentation. DST, also DST providing the grant in form of who are the young below 35-year age. So fast track, we say that the young scientists are human that getting the grant from the DST. International travel support. Yes, DST is also providing international travel support. If you're looking to present your paper internationally, you go through DST and go through the international travel support. But perhaps the age required below 35 years, and they will cover the airfare, registration fee, visa fees, etc. Then SARB also they are providing. In fact, I received 2 times the international travel supports from SARB and presented my paper in UK, Exeter, as well as in EGU in 2018. So I say it's one of the good option. If you're looking to present your paper internationally, try for ITR. In addition, ITR also providing the grant to the young scientists. And these all are the schemes which are readily available. Simply you go through the website and try to look inside that how they are providing those grants to the researchers. Looking for more, CSIR. CSIR also, that means the Council of Science and Industrial Research, they are also providing the international travel support, but perhaps they are providing the 50%. It means 50% either you avail by yourself or either from other funding agencies, but certainly 50% they are providing to be presenting your paper at internationally. Yes, regionally we say that Guj Coast, recently they have launched the minor research project. They are supporting to the research community, mostly including the faculty members, and they will get the grant up to the 50 lakhs for 3 years. Seminar, symposium, workshop, you all are much familiar to that, to getting the grant for seminar, workshop. Until 30 participants, that you get the grant up to 30 to 40,000 rupees, right? And Inspire Faculty Scheme, it's also one of the important one. The faculty who are looking to doing the research in their area, you go through Inspire DST Faculty Scheme, until up to the 5 lakhs rupees you get the grants, right? AICT also one of the important funding agencies we have. They are supporting to the faculty. Many TechCube programs might be, you know that many university and colleges who are affiliated with AICT, they are getting the grant in form of the TechCubes, where they either purchase the different equipments for the R&D activities. So AICT is also one of the important source for getting the fund for doing the research. They are also providing the research to the faculty. Career enhancement, it means they are providing the fund to the young teachers. Certainly you get the travel supports from AICT too, and also organizing STTP or conference, you get the grant from the AICT. UK India, it's too, I think sometimes it is difficult, but you also try. Many UK India collaborative projects are working. They are launching those advertise on their websites. Try to search and you can apply. Mostly I'm looking that the faculty members who want to do the research for at least 1 to 3 months abroad, then perhaps it's a very important. I say that it's really a very important opportunity for them who are working for shorter time in UK university. You try for UK India educational research initiatives, and you get the opportunity for working in UK. So these are, I'm looking at some of the importance, starting from what is research, then what is research methodology, and what are the important research funding opportunity you have in this field. So certainly this in COVID period, you try the converting your problem into your opportunity. I have one quote here that mostly I see the PhD student, that mostly they have a question, that when they come with me, and in fact all the supervisor also getting the problem. But how you converting those problems into opportunity? I say that mostly the research students say, હું શું કરું? હું શું કરું આ પરિસ્થિતિમાં? So instead if you applying shoe, if you apply that હું આ કરું, so just you will replace the word shoe to that I will sure that you will convert your problem into opportunity. And these are too important now in this COVID era, that you have really a tremendous opportunity converting problem into your opportunity. So thank you so much for your kind patience. It's really a tough task actually. Yes, Darshan.
Thank you, Dhruvesh sir, for your informative and excellent lecture. I hope the beginners, those who want to start their research work, they will get beneficial, and I think they will get some knowledge out of it. And you had shown your own how you are doing and updating yourself along with the research that you have shown to all the participants. So definitely it will help all the participants to make and get them updated as per the current scenario. So if anybody or any participant would like to ask any kind of questions, then the platform is open for you for 5 to 7 minutes. Then afterwards we will start the next session of Dr. Bhavesh Rana on ethics in publication. So if any questions, please let us know. Sir, participants are asking whether you are going to provide this PPT for as a reference material.
Yes, I will share.
Okay.
Yes, I will share the PPT. No
Okay.
issue.
Okay.
I will share the PPT definitely. Yes.